to be wary of their position, and for Work Auster Force, they need to make sure that when they do try to put down that damage, it's on point.
And we'll see who will get the first point here as we hear the Go Onic coming up from Unravel. But yeah, I feel like Onic-Ph needs to really capitalize on the advantage that they have with Natalia to really get control of the early game here, and that is where it all matters. As long as Hate will be able to just go ham in the early game, they'll have no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, and so far we are seeing that both teams are playing quite differently on how they played last week, honestly. Now Work Auster Force will be invading the jungle of Onic, and Onic seemed to be a little bit unbothered by it though. Unravel still dealing or receiving a lot of damage, but I'm quite sure that it won't be lethal for Work Auster Force.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive fight push there in the top lane jungle for Onic-Ph, and as I say that, bottom lane will get visited by Jay on that Natalia. Kusei will have a bad time just farming this up. But yeah, it's a completely different Work Auster Force here compared to how we saw them in the early weeks. The early weeks that they were playing, they were a bit passive. They were just letting the game go, letting the game happen as it happens. And now they're trying to regain the tempo here.
Yeah, and for 3 Martisi, actually trades against Dilar, and I feel like Dilar will have to play this quite aggressively. Might be a 2v1 though.
Might be a 2v1, but 3 Martisi will make it out alive. Dilar is down to half HP. Hate will be there to assist in keeping his teammate alive.
Man, this is exactly why I didn't like the Natalia pick to begin with. It pressures Onic-Ph.
Yeah, the pressure on the Unravel to back off is real. Dilar is already a quarter HP out of the game, but he's still alive. RTZ tries to push forward to get a little bit more damage onto Dilar, but it's not enough, and that will be a disengage. Chu will start off the turtle.
Yeah, turtle will be started by Work Auster Force here. Onic does have the capacity to just engage here. It might be a fight for the turtle, but a first blood actually goes to Onic-Ph, but a turtle goes to Work Auster Force instead. So I think that trade was still won by Work Auster Force, considering that the average gold is still bigger if you get the turtle.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Getting objectives is a lot better than just securing kills, at least in the early part. It was just a 1-for-1 trade for that matter. Now, we're going to have to talk about the transition going to the mid-game this time around. Alice, Iaknu, as soon as he gets 20-25 stacks up, he will become a threat in this game.
Definitely. The Alice post level 4 is one of the biggest threats in this game, though. A 2v1 in the bot lane.
And Kusei manages to make it out alive. Good timing on that flicker. Not expending it. He knows that Al's already threw the orb, but meanwhile over the top lane, Dilar will get taken out.
That was pretty massive coming in from Work Auster Force. Taking down Dilar in the top lane is a very good way to establish pressure around that turtle area, giving 3 Martisi a little bit of an edge, but this is the threat that we have in Iaknu right now.
Iaknu tries to be a little bit cheeky there with the lane cut, but it's not happening at all as 3 members from Work Auster Force just deals with Iaknu there to just alleviate the pressure that he's trying to apply in the bottom lane.
A little bit too aggressive coming in from Iaknu, cutting down the wave quite early without prior information coming in from Work Auster Force, gets punished by 3 people. And speaking of information, this is the information that they need. That Mountain Shocker actually will give the safety that Iaknu needs if ever he wants to just cut lanes. But then again, the cooldowns weren't exactly in sync during that time, and they got punished in that bottom lane.
And meanwhile, there was a big presence of Onic-Ph on the top lane just to try to bring 3 Martisi home, but it's not going to happen. And now they will just default back into their own jungles.
Yeah, and I feel like the map pressure around the top side only is because of this turtle, but Vlar though in the back side.
Yeah, we'll try to get a kill off of Unravel, just try to delay the turtle push, but Chu manages to take down Dilar. Unravel takes down Jay. It's a fight for the turtle, and it has been secured by Work Auster Force, and it's not looking good for Onic-Ph. Already 3 members going down, make that 4 as Chu secures a double kill. Off of that, the birthday boy starting to become relatively unkillable here. 2-0 and 3 so far.
Yep, that was a solid play coming in from Work Auster Force, immediately rotating for that turtle. getting the turtle, then getting the kills as well. This is what I told you about when I said that 3 Martisi is the X factor for Work Auster Force. He was the one who initiated that play to begin with, got Chu a lot of kills, but you know, rather than me just explaining things, let's look at it again. Turtle is started by Work Auster Force, and look at this. The entry coming in from 3 Martisi just gives that Rhapsody the final touch, the final note that it needs to just secure those kills. And it was already said and done the moment that wave the dragon lands. And 3 Martisi, I have to give it to him, even if the double kill went to Chu. That makes it even better.
And that instant replay is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos, as that is a good way of the dragon on the backlines by 3 Martisi to secure, helps Chu secure the kill off of Jay and Iaknu over the top lane.
Onic-Ph, they seem shell-shocked right now. They drafted the Natalia thinking that they could get that early game advantage, but I feel like the pressure just didn't go well for them. Jay did try to get a few kills, but always had those assassination attempts unsuccessful. And that means Work Auster Force had the opportunity to just scale up, have 3 Martisi set up the kills, have 3 Martisi set up things for Chu. And Chu right now 4-0-3, and we do know from the past few weeks of MPL that a Granger that gets ahead early will just pop off immediately by mid-game.
Yeah, and he's looking real good here, especially considering the fact that they are starting off the turtle. If they manage to secure this, Unravel will be able to... Chu, I mean, will be able to just secure a little bit more objectives here for themselves to even out the map pressure. As I say that, 3 Martisi made Jay and Iaknu pay the price there. Unsuccessful on that gang, and Unravel will be looking to assist over the top lane, but that is a disengage by the Onic.
This is so sad by Onic-Ph. They went in to trade 3 Martisi for the turtle. They sacrificed that turtle play, gave it for free for Work Auster Force, invested 3 people in the top side only for 3 Martisi to escape that 3v1. They didn't get their worth in that rotation. They didn't get any gold. Yes, they got a few minions, but that was it. And for now, looks like bottom lane is the next target for Onic-Ph.
And that's not going to happen yet because the mid lane is a primary target here. Jay will be taken out first, gets the knockup onto Iaknu, secures the double kill for Chu. Arteezy, low on HP, will be forced to back off, and they are still fighting. Unravel already. I mean, Chu already becoming a problem here. He's spamming the recall here to secure a triple kill of his own. 7-0-3. This birthday boy is feeling himself right now, Yomi.
Yeah, birthday boy with birthday swagger going in, still deathless in this game, taking down the mid lane turret, and Chu's now level 13. This is massive coming in from Work Auster Force. Their early game just worked wonders for them. And for Onic-Ph, even if they drafted the Natalia, it didn't actually work out for them. And this is a key example on how negative pressure having on that early game, especially on this Natalia pick, just ruined the early or the mid or late game potential of that Alice.
In the earlier game, Onic already had the map advantage here throughout the entire game, securing the first 2 tier 1 tier 1 turrets on the mid lane and the bottom lane. And this time around, the tables have been turned. Work Auster Force is just securing objective after objective, just making Onyx's world really small at this point. And they secure a second tier 2 inhibitor, a tier 2 turret there for themselves.
And most likely this turtle will be free as well for Work Auster Force. The map control coming in from Work Auster Force in this game is quite massive. As you can see in our minimap right now, 90%, or let's just say 85% of the map is already covered in blue. And Work Auster Force will be rotating towards that Lord area. Might be even a free Lord if Onic-Ph doesn't shove the waves quickly, as in right now.
And that is going to be a huge ask for Onic-Ph. No lane priorities for themselves. It's only the mid lane that's really pushing forward. And 3 Martisi is doing a good job just focusing on just keeping the top lane at bay so that Onic-Ph will not have any space to push whatsoever. Speaking of space, a lot of space has been created to secure this Lord for themselves.
Yeah, and as I said, another free objective for Work Auster Force, and Onic-Ph, they just don't know what to do right now. Mainly because Onic-Ph already sacrificed their early or their mid game for a possible good early game that they did not get. Now they have a Natalia that's 1-4-1, could not assassinate anybody from Work Osterforce, and an Alice that's severely behind. This isn't what you want entering mid-game if you're Onic-Ph, and it's quite obvious in the gold score as well. Work Osterforce is 11,000 gold ahead of Onic-Ph, and that's a big signal that Onic-Ph, they really don't stand a chance going towards mid-game, and the only hope for them to win this game is for Work Osterforce to commit a huge error by mid lane as the Lord pushes.
And this is not looking good because Jay is just doing what he can to just delay the push from coming over the top lane, but the mid lane is already there. The back has the call to just go back and regroup with as a team. It has already been called. This will have to be big for Onic-Ph, but that initial engagement by 3 Martisi would be more than enough to secure an opening for every single member of Work Osterforce here to go ham and secure 3 kills, and this is looking like it's already game for Work Osterforce as they secured their first series here against Onic-Ph.
I have to agree with you. This is going to be game 1 going to Work Osterforce, and I hate to say it, but it was an easy win for Work Osterforce after a great draft in a great early game.
The early game was just, I mean, all things considered, having Natalia on your side would just dictate themselves. Now, it's looking like a scouting game here for Onic-Ph, just playing it safe around the Little Wanderer in order for them to really get a feel of where Lancelot would want to go, and a little bit of an exchange there for the recalls in that game.
Man, in the top side though, this matchup, Lunox plus Chang, they're basically just gonna try to pulp each other out while trying to farm. But I feel like the game changer here would be who would get the first gank, who would get the first tower dive, and how good will it be? Because we've seen our fair share of failed tower dives, and it has always been detrimental, severely detrimental to the team that failed it.
And if anything, if we're gonna focus on the top lane, it's always going to have to be Lunox winning over Chang'o as Emar's TZ falls down first in the bottom lane. Iyaknu was almost taken out by this gank by Unravel to help out Kosei, and instead they are looking at Jay here on that high loss, looking to get a dive themselves, trying to force the flicker onto Iyaknu. Thorn Rose enough to secure the kill onto Iyaknu. Meanwhile, bottom lane is where Dilar almost falls down. Jay will be forced to flicker out, almost makes it out by the skin of his teeth. As well as if on the bottom lane, Dilar makes it out as well.
Yeah, and right now both teams are playing quite aggressively, and looking at the gold score, it's still dead even, but Hate here will find 3 Martisi, but 3 Martisi going in for the 2v2.
And Hate gets knocked up, but will be forced to back off here as Unravel goes ahead and supports his teammate to just, help him survive, but Arteezy finds Kyrie, doesn't follow through, will be just zoning them out to just secure the first turtle of the game.
Yeah, and this is Work Osterforce sticking to what worked for them last game. And Work Osterforce, their macro game from last game actually gave them all the turtles in that game. Jay, though, that's going to be another free kill coming in from Work Osterforce, and Onic-Ph, they have to be careful. They can't give out free kills, especially in the early game.
Yeah, they don't. The side of Onic-Ph wants to really get the advantage in the early game, but Work is slowly gaining the advantage. As I say that, the same umbrella opened by Arteezy, not enough to really take down Iyaknu. It's more than enough to have him back off from that lane.
Yeah, and this is why you pick the Lunox. Even if you find yourself in a tough situation, just one press of a button, and that Order of Brilliance ult just gives her, or gives Iyaknu, a lot of safety that they need. But in terms of objectives, I feel like the first turret will be going to the hands of Onic-Ph, and that's pretty huge. Giving some additional map control in the bot side early on for Onic-Ph is one way to delay the game. And for Work Osterforce, looks like top side will be the next objective or the next aggressive play to take.
And it's they're taking their time. This is a heavy presence over the top lane just to try to secure priority over the turtle in the top lane. And it's giving a lot of space for Paquito over in the bottom lane. 3 Martisi will have a huge heyday, just getting as much farm as he can just to get the advantage against Dilar in this game.
Turtle will be up in a few seconds, and we're seeing Work Osterforce, as you said, establishing priority in the mid lane rather, in the top lane. But looks like they will be rotating on the opposite side of the turtle, trying to bait out Jay once again. Might be dangerous for the Hylos right now.
Might be dangerous, but the danger is not going to be spotted out by Onic just yet. Work Auster Force will be playing it safe. They're trying to get a good read onto Onic here as to where they are in the entire map before they even start going for the lore, but this is detrimental. Chu already low on HP, and he's going to be forced back, and we see Unravel diving in straight into the backlines. Onic J pops the glorious pathway to just escape from the grasps of Work Auster Force. Turtle is now being started up by Onic-Ph, but they will just disengage, use that as a bait to just dish out a little bit more damage in this potential team fight that's coming. Unravel already low on HP, but so is Jay. Jay no longer has the glorious pathway, manages to flicker out just in time. Emartizi in the backlines. Unravel will fall down with Dilar, gets the Away the Dragon as well as the G Kundo. And this turtle is, there's still no sign as to whose turtle this is going to be, because Work Auster Force does not have a good priority, and it will finally be secured by Onic-Ph.
Onic-Ph securing that turtle even without the retribution. Both junglers did use their retribution there, but you know, it's gonna be the Rafaela that secures that turtle, and for Onic-Ph, that's huge. They gave away the first turtle, now the second turtle will be going in their hands, and this game is again on dead even. Only 400 gold ahead. Work Auster Force needs to find an opportunity or an added opportunity that they need by mid-game, because late game, the moment this Bruno gets a lot of the items that he needs, he will shred over Work Auster Force again and again.
And that turtle take might just be very detrimental here. It's on the hands of Kyrie. It's a good sign here for Work Auster Force. At least it didn't go to Hate himself. But as I say that, Dilar will just take quick work here against Kosei over the top lane.
Yeah, and this is why you don't want to face a Cho playing as a mage. You don't have the same mobility unless you're playing Kagura. It's the same mobility as a Cho, and most of the time he will find more opportunities than you. And we're talking about Dilar here. It looks like in the mid lane a fight will break out.
Yeah, glorious pathway by Jay, not enough to salvage his teammate there. Arteezy will fall down by the hands of Hate, and starting to become a problem. Hate is. Tried to summon my inner Yoda there, but he was already he's already starting to become a problem. That was a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Onic-Ph, and they should have priority over the top lane turret, because Dilar and Hate, they're leaning towards taking down Kosei. As I say that, Emartizi will fall down without any problems whatsoever.
And this is the problem that Work Auster Force has to deal with right now in Game 2. Onic-Ph found the... I wouldn't say found. They actually just healed up, made sure that the early game was quite silent. It wasn't as noisy as it was in Game 1, and Onic-Ph finally scaled up to a point that Hate actually deals a lot of damage per auto attack, and the turtle will be up right now. Started already by Onic-Ph. Work Auster Force can go for the contest, but I'm not feeling it right now. Onic-Ph already established a great position with the Cho on the backside as well.
And the turtle will once again be secured by Onic-Ph. Work does not have any priority and did not even attempt to challenge the turtle. Just wants to keep it as safe as possible. Try to just minimize the losses they have in that turtle take.
And I feel like that's mainly because Lar gets found out here. Might have been a dangerous place for him, but the G Kundo plus the Shunpo will always be enough for an escape.
And the Meteor Shower is more than enough to force a flicker and the glorious pathway away from Jay. This is a huge opening for Work Auster Force to force a fight, but with the recalls coming in from Onic-Ph, they will reset themselves and wait for the next potential fight. And speaking of next potential fight, it looks like Iaknu is next on the table here for Work Auster Force.
And Iaknu with a very low HP on the turret. This is going to be quite dangerous for Onic unless they respond promptly. But looks like there are already two people in this bottom side, and Iaknu might be even able to defend this by himself. Doesn't know that Unravel and Chu is there. That's the Meteor Shower burn.
That's also the Order of Brilliance burnt out just to not get a lot of damage from Kosei. And there may be a fight coming up, but they have to work. Auster Force has to just focus on just working on Paquito's strength right now, on Emartizi's strength right now, which is to just push the side lanes as much as possible to gain a little bit more control here on this map, because it's starting to look like an Onic map here, all blues.
Yeah, Onic-Ph does have the map control, but doesn't have that big of a gold lead just for now. And Ravel bumping down Jay.
Jay forced once again to use the Glorious Pathway. I have not seen a very good aggressive Glorious Pathway being used by Jay to really start off the fight here. And this is looking like Onic-Ph was waiting for the late game to come in, for Hate to become the biggest problem on the backs of Work Auster Force this game.
I still think that they're waiting for this big power spike for Hate before they actually go in for the kill, and I have to respect that. Onic-Ph knows their power spike, they're playing with it. Vlar, though, a little bit too aggressive in that play, and that means Work Auster Force will be able to establish a good position near the Lord, but Jay is already walking towards, and Ravel doesn't actually find out just yet. Until now, it's going to be a little bit of a tickle fight there, and now the Lord will be, I guess, not the next big objective for now, considering that both teams still have a lot of healthy members.
As healthy as it can be, the Lord might just be the turning point here in this fight for, well, initially the turning point, because Work Auster Force needs to secure this Lord for themselves. Meanwhile, Jay and Kyrie are just trying to bait out a lot of skills here, and as I say that, that is going to be a big knockout punch being thrown by Emartizi to secure the first kill onto Jay and onto Hate. Kyrie tries to salvage his team, but manages to take down Chu. They are still pretty much in the fight here. Iyakno almost gets taken out, gets stunned out, a killing spree by Emartizi. That is an unofficial triple kill for themselves, but that is an opening for Dilar to push out the top lane.
That's a big opportunity for Dilar to get that top lane, but then again, let's talk about Emartizi in that fight. Emartizi just went in with the shields, just very brave in general, just gets the kills, gets the gold, and now a 1v1 with the show. Is it the kick or the punch?
And it's looking like it may be the punch, but Unravel is here to help out his teammate. They are going to focus on the Jay, gets stunned out, and Emartizi is no doubt gonna have to go down in this fight, but Arteezy pops up with the yin-yang overturn to turn the tides of that fight.
Work Auster Force with once again good response, good macro game, and evens out the game once again against Onic-Ph. Yes, we are nearing the late game, but for Onic-Ph, they still have to protect Hate. If Hate gets picked out early, just like the fight before that small skirmish, Work Auster Force will find opportunity after opportunity, and they have to limit that, because Work Auster Force, this is the last draw of their mid-game power spike. If they're able to survive this, Onic-Ph might see a lot more success in the future.
Yeah, they are as methodical, so to speak. Work Auster Force, yeah, they lost the early game, no doubt. We're already entering the mid-game stage of the game. They're regaining control of the game. Despite the fact that they do not have the superior map control in this fight, they're able to win out just by picking off the vital picks, the vital heroes here for Onic-Ph, namely Jay, namely Hate. Kyrie able to just manage to escape from time to time, but that is because he is a Rafaela. As I say that, top lane being worked out here by a Work Auster Force. It's a 5-man presence to really go for this big gank, but they will back off.
Yeah, and the Lord actually was left alone, and Onic-Ph, they didn't decide to immediately get it, but Arteezy might be in trouble here.
The first aggressive Glorious Pathway being thrown by Jay, but no follow-throughs from themselves. A bit questionable there on Arteezy to really pop the umbrella and just get info. That wasn't the best call. If the worst comes to worst, he could have been taken out, and that could have been a team fight for Onic.
True. For Work Auster Force, yes, they do have the power right now to contest absolutely anything against Onic-Ph, but they still have to be careful. The only person or the only people that could actually tank damage on their side is the Paquito and the Baksha. If you're not the Paquito, if you're not the Baksha, please do not go in front of the people of Onic-Ph, because they will not hesitate in trying to take you down.
And hesitation is the name of the game here, especially for Work Auster Force, because they really want to pick their fights as carefully as possible. As much as possible, they really don't want to go for a full 5-man fight against Onic-Ph at this point, because Onic-Ph has the superior firepower in terms of team fights.
No.
But they did catch Jay, force a flicker out. Here comes a meteor shower being thrown out, already low on HP. And again, a defensive pseudo-aggressive. Glorious Pathway being thrown by Jay. And again, no follow-throughs from Onic.
Yeah, and Jay has been, let's just say, a little bit too aggressive in terms of face-checking bushes for his team. It's always work Auster Force trying to find Jay. Jay is doing his job. I'm quite sure that that's his main role there, trying to fish for information, and he has to do so safely. Just like this, work Auster Force might just be...
Oh, that was a beautiful timing and the patience to just go for the Wave the Dragon. And now this is a big opening for Onic-Ph. Work Auster Force is down a core, it's down a man, and Onic-Ph can, in all honesty, can force out a fight here. And as I say that, Glorious Pathway will be thrown out by Onic-Ph.
Oh no,
but again, RTZ, the Yin Yang overturn, gets Kyrie down to an eighth of his HP out, manages to survive. They have priority over the Lord here.
And it looks like priority won't be the story because the fight continues.
And Ravel gets taken out. They get the 3 Martizi. They are backing off. The Meteor Shower catches Jay. Rafaela passes ult to just get a little bit more of that sustainability in that fight, and D-Lord dives in from the back lines, showing him that kicks are better than punches. And Bruno is down, indeed, and it is already looking grim for work Auster Force here. It is a 3-4-4 exchange in favor of Onic-Ph. They have priority over the Lord, but it's not enough.
Yeah, Onic-Ph, they don't have their jungler right now, so they won't be able to take down the Lord. But they did win that trade. Looking at the gold score right now, Work Auster Force is still ahead by 300 gold. But that's mainly because they still got kills even in a 4v5 setting. Again, Chu was picked off before that fight even began. But Work Auster Force was able to stall it until such a time that they actually got the fight going for them. That Meteor Shower was beautiful coming in from that Chang. But we have to look at RTZ on this Kagura. We've seen it countless times. The Kagura to a 100-0 combo just is severely lethal for the side of Onic-Ph. But Onic-Ph at the end of the day still had that Rafaela and Cho. Very hard to kill with a shield coming in from Shunpo, plus the heals and the stuns or the slows coming in from the Rafaela.
That instant replay was brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only 13,999 pesos, as they will get their own 3 Martizi here in this fight. He will be taken down. This Lord is getting started off by Work Auster Force. They get the good stun onto Jay to just save them, the Lord, but this is a 5v4 fight. RTZ already low on HP, smart targeting here for Onic-Ph, and it may just become an Onic-Ph game here. Unravel will eventually fall down. Work Auster Force only left with 2 members to defend themselves.
Glar saved that trade for Onic-Ph. They lost that trade initially when they just got 1 kill on the top side for the Lord, but Onic-Ph, Glar, when they found that opportunity, just got in, took out the kills, it actually gave them the trade win as well. And now that the Lancelot is gone as well, Onic-Ph is immediately transitioning this Lord take from Work Auster Force to their favor.
And man, this is looking very grim for Onic-Ph at this point. We are not Onic-Ph, but Work Auster Force at this point. It's not looking good for themselves because it's not working well. This composition is not working well from them. The mid lane turret is already down for themselves. The Glorious Pathway will already be triggered. Jay flickers in. A bit questionable there, but manages to really secure the kill for themselves. It's still doable for Work Auster Force, but they have a lot to work with here. They don't have a lot of map control. I mean, guaranteed they already have the top lane in check for themselves, but the threat of D-Lar just split pushing is still real for them.
Yeah, and this is the late game that Onic-Ph banked for. They have the split pushing coming in from D-Lar, and they have the damage coming in from Hate. For Work Auster Force, the only thing that's left for them is to try and assassinate Hate. Try and get a bit more kills, a bit more map pressure, and perhaps take the next Lord. But for Work Auster Force, they've already past their power spike. Meanwhile, for Onic-Ph, they still have a lot of time to get even more damage, even more plays in. And I just want to say that their play in the top side earlier was beautiful. They passed down that Wave the Dragon immediately to the Holy Baptism.
And the Work Auster Force will try to get a little bit more real estate back in this fight as they secure bottom lane turret. But this is going to be big. They get Kosei. away from the waves.
Oh, look
Dilar
at that,
manages
though.
to secure the turret. Doesn't matter if he's low on HP. Iaknu's there to back him up, and they will
Oh.
turn and go for the fight against Iaknu. And Chu will secure the kill off of Dilar, no problem. But
Oh,
instead,
Dilar.
the Order Brothers will
Dilar.
be Chu doing a good job focusing
Dilar.
on Dilar, but Dilar just dishes out a lot of damage there for himself. And Martizi and the rest of Work Auster Force are already begging on their knees to try to survive this fight against Onic.
Man, Dlar on that play, actually on that series of plays was insane. Dlar dodged so many abilities and just went on to deal so much damage even on low HP. And now this is still anybody's game, but this might be a massive fight.
It may just be the fight that will turn the game around as they secure the kill. Almost onto Martizi, pops the immortality for himself, Unravel, getting caught off.
Oh,
Chu
no.
down. This is going to be big for Onic-Ph. They already secured 2 kills off of that engagement with Kosei out of the fight. They have to Work Auster Force has to rely on Kosei here to go for the wave clears to try and buy a little bit more time, but Jay dives in to get the stun onto Kosei himself. Martizi is Martizi would take down Hate.
Oh no, this is another misplay coming in from Jay. Flickering in to get that stun just gave Work Auster Force more room to operate even on a disadvantage. So for Onic-Ph, yes, they know what to do. Yes, they know the aggressive calls, but the execution always falls short. But I have to say, Dlar has been playing insanely well, and if there's someone who could start off that aggressive play, it would need to be Dlar.
And Dilar has been going huge here. Currently 6-2-6 on this show. And those
might be able to find an opportunity that just gives them this game back.
But we have to take in consideration, though, the Work Auster Force does have the superior wave clear in terms of just having the Choklow meteor shower available for them to just clear out the waves. But this is two lanes open for Onic-Ph. Work Auster Force has to make sure that they secure this Lord for themselves. It is Luminous Lord that will start pushing over towards the top side of things. But Work Auster Force will have to juggle their priorities here. They can't push forward. The threat of Dilar just split pushing is too real for them.
True. They have to shove the lanes before they go for that actual push. But they do have the wave clear, as you said. They could just shove the lanes really fast, go in for the kill with the Lord. But this is going to be a big problem for them. The lanes that are open for Onic-Ph to take are bot lane and top lane. The Lord for Work Auster Force is pushing the top side, which means they will be severely far away from the bottom lane that show will split push, and this will force them a 4v4. The Bakito has to defend bot lane, and Onic-Ph needs to defend top side.
And Dilar will finally back off. That is the first inhibitor turret down for Onic-Ph. Good on Work Auster Force to just regain control of the map. Now, the primary concern here is to really catch Dilar, and it's looking like they will catch him, force the flicker out, uses the Jeet Kune Do, a lot of skills being thrown to just focus on Dilar here. But the glorious pathway to just deter Work Auster Force from chasing him down further would be enough to keep his survival in check.
That's a lot of ults burnt for Work Auster Force for one person, and this just goes to show how big a threat Dilar is in this game, especially in split pushing. They could have tried to end the game by pushing mid lane, but the pressure coming in from Dilar from the bottom side just gave Onic-Ph the edge that they need in defense through offense. At this point, their offense is the best defense that they could handle against Work.
And the defense is working good for both teams, all things considered. No signs of ending just yet. Work Auster Force really wants to secure this 2-0 defeat because this 2-0 victory, I mean, because they want to go on top of the game. Their group, they're looking really strong.
Oh, no.
They're just playing as safe as possible, as there might just be a big engagement over at the bottom lane. Getting stunned onto Chu, forced to use the Thorn Rose to dish out damage, but Rafaela pops the ultimate to just allow Onic-Ph to run away.
Yeah, in terms of map pressure, Work Auster Force has completely changed this as for now. 100 seconds on the Lord though, so I feel like Onic-Ph has the time to push back the waves until the next Lord arrives, but I feel like Work Auster Force isn't even gonna wait for the next Lord.
And the Meteor Shower will be used to deter any further pushes here from Onic-Ph for now, and I like how the turns have been tabled, so to speak, as Work Auster Force is now sieging the side of Onic-Ph, just trying to get as much real estate back from this game.
Yeah, this is a 1-3-1 push from Work Auster Force, a very efficient way to manage the waves before the Lord arrives a minute from now. If they're able to hold these lanes pushing in their favor, they have priority over this Lord, and this Lord might just be the game-winning Lord for Work Auster Force if they're able to secure this. The only problem that they have right now is even if they will be able to take this Lord through sheer power of, let's say, map control or priority over the Lord, Onic-Ph still has the opportunity to contest. They have the damage to do so, they have the sustain, they have the flicker from Dlar, and things might go south for Work Auster Force if they don't take that Lord safely.
Yeah, it's I mean, we're already reaching the point where the gold lead that Work Auster Force has doesn't even matter, because at this point they already have their items in check. But what does matter is that Work Auster Force does not get picked off here by Onic-Ph if they want to secure the 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and look at Lar just split pushing bottom side, making sure that that lane stays pressured from Onic-Ph, because that offers them so much freedom to defend against Work Auster Force. And Work Auster Force, the Lord will be spawning near the top side, which means they need to make sure that this bottom lane is shoved, or maybe leave Paquito there, but they're gonna be Paquito-less in that fight, and Paquito has been very important in the way they take their objectives. And the Lord has already spawned, and we're seeing one member here, or perhaps two members, make that three members from Onic-Ph hovering near the bot side, and they might go for the hidden or maybe the surprise push in the bottom side.
Yeah, that is exactly what Onic-Ph is wanting to do here. As soon as they get a sign that Work Auster Force is getting the Lord. Oh, this is going to be big. Dilar gets picked off. The game might turn around to the favor of Work Auster Force, but Dilar manages to make it out of alive with the Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet Kune Do plus Shunpo is a surefire way to escape anything bad. And it looks like Dlar will be surviving another day, but won't be actually recalling and will be staying in that bottom side for a possible push. The Paquito is still defending there, not giving an opportunity for Onic-Ph, as Onic or Work Auster Force will be starting the Lord. This is going to be a 4v4 for the Lord, and Jay has been in an aggressive position already.
Man, this is a good call for Work Auster Force to really focus on focusing on Dilar from split pushing, just preventing him from doing so. And at the same time, this is also good for Onic-Ph. Like, as soon as they get an inkling that the Lord is being started out by Work Auster Force, a full-on push in the bottom lane will be necessary in order for them to secure the victory. Now, Lord will just be picked off here slightly by Work Auster Force.
Kyrie is in the backside trying to heal up Jay, and the Work Auster Force is actually going to start this Lord already. That's information taken by Jay. Now everyone from Onic-Ph will be trying to contest this Lord, and that's a recall coming in from Work Auster Force. They actually cancel out the Lord take, but the Baksha will be back immediately, knowing with that bonus movement speed, he'll be here in no time. No. RTZ though.
RTZ is in danger here. Work Auster Force will have to reply with this with their own Meteor Shower here, forced to use the Umbrella to get out of there, as well as the Glorious Pathway.
That's the Winter's Truncheon burnt though for the Kagura. The Lord will be started once again by Work Auster Force, and 3 Martizi will be in the backside to defend. This might be a big contest coming in from Onic-Ph, but will they be able to successfully stop Work Auster Force in their 4th or 3rd Lord attempt for this Lord in general?
And it has to be big, and they have to keep Dilar in check, because look at the wave to the bottom lane. Starting to be a big wave that's hard to handle. Jay gets caught, stunned. The Meteor Shower will pop the Immortality. Dilar in the back lines goes for the Wave the Dragon to kick Kosei out of the fight. It's a 5v4 here over the Lord Pit area, and they have to reset. If Onic secures this Lord, it's just game over for game number 2.
Yeah, and for Work Auster Force, RTZ picking off Jay's Immortality. Now Jay needs to be extra careful. His tankiness won't be a lot, considering that he doesn't have that second life. Now Work Auster Force is just eternally pressuring this Lord, and I feel like the Paquito doesn't even know that there's a lot of people here in the bottom side.
Yeah, it's a two-man presence. Iaknu catches Martizi, and this has to be a call for him to just back off.
Yeah, that's true. Now that there's two people invested in the bottom side, Work Auster Force immediately starts the Lord. Already on 3/4 HP, I feel like Onic has enough pressure to make Work Auster Force stop and taking down that Lord. This has been a Lord dance that has been starting and ending for the past 5 minutes. We've been sitting here near the Lord for almost 1/4 of the game, and this is going to be a game-breaking Lord for any team to take.
Yeah, it has been real smooth. Chachasi, why would you face check that push? RTZ almost gets taken out, but that is a glorious pathway being forced out. The burst is not enough to take down RTZ.
Yeah, RTZ successfully escaping that assassination attempt. This might just be Work Auster Force resetting once again. Again, we've been at this Lord site for the longest time already. It's been minutes here. The Lord has been started and stopped again and again, and we're...
The question here is, how would the entire game transpire at this point if it's just a huge stalemate here?
Yeah, and I feel like, again, in this bottom side, we always have Lara trying to apply pressure in the Paquito, absorbing it, pushing it again. If one of them dies with a big pickoff, that's going to be a big game changer for this whole Lord dance that we're seeing. So for Onic-Ph, Jay still doesn't have that immortality, still has to stay careful, but there are a lot of options for both teams here. Suddenly, it's in the equilibrium, even if we're seeing Work Auster Force ahead by 9k gold.
Yeah, it's... Work Auster Force is just playing it safe, man. And you can't blame them. Dilardo already lurking in towards the backline to try to open up the map for themselves, and he gets the kill onto RTZ, and this has to be the call for Onic to just start with the engagements themselves. They get the stun onto the Unravel, and this is forcing every single member from Work Auster Force back, and Unravel is caught between a hard and a rock place. They will be forced back. Unravel is already low, has the immortality up, but he needs to reset himself. Martizi gets caught off, does not have a lot of damage on himself, and will be popped. The immortality will be backing off. He's gonna get taken out, and it's slowly looking like an Onic-Ph game, but the meteor shower is more than enough for Work Auster Force to just back off. For Onic-Ph to back off, I mean.
30-minute game, we're entering late game where Hate just deals so much damage, and look at the death timers. It's longer than the Lord dance already. 80 seconds on Martizi and RTZ on 40 seconds. This is looking to be a free Lord unless Chu steals it away, but this is going to be mission impossible for Work Auster Force.
And this has to be crucial for Work Auster Force to get there. Gets a big knock up there. HP slow. Why Work Auster Force, and this may just turn the entire game around in their focus, but look at the wave at the bottom lane for Work Auster Force. It's too big to handle. Chu low on HP. Immortality will be popped, and Kosei has to back off because the HP is starting to be chipped. Considering the fact that there has already been a nerf on the damage being dealt by the minions, it's still not enough because the HP of the base is already at less than half HP.
Yeah, and we have RTZ respawning in a few seconds, but the Lord will be pushing in the favor of Work Auster Force. Onic-Ph, though, is 4-man strong against a 3-man strong Work Auster Force. They have to take a little bit of a time out here in the mid lane to just secure that Lord away from Work Auster Force, but this has been an intense game for Work and Onic, and we're already at 32 minutes. One kill could change it all.
And that is the kill! That may just change it all. D-Lar gets taken out. 99 seconds out of the game. This is a huge opening for Work Auster Force, trying to go for Iaknu here, but the first damage by Iaknu enough to take down Chu. Both of the primary cores, the primary damage dealers here for both these teams are down. RTZ next in line here, being chased down by Kyrie, being backed up by Kosei, forced to flicker out and secure the kill. That is a Rafaela securing the kill on to that Chang-O, and Kyrie being chased out by Kosei and Martizi, and it's only Iaknu in the base to just prevent the push from happening. Meteor shower more than enough to take down Kyrie, and again, this is another stalemate.
33 minutes in, and we're at a very long game right now. 101.5k to 110k. Work Auster Force and Onic-Ph giving us the longest game so far that we have in MPL Season 7. And looks like it's gonna be, as you said, another stalemate here. both lanes in the top side and the bottom side are open for Work Auster Force. Meanwhile, for Onic-Ph, it's just going to be the mid lane and in the top side as well. 2 minutes before the next Lord spawns. But as I said earlier, one kill could change this, and both teams are feeling immense pressure from just pushing lanes.
Martizi cannot be picked off here. He's being chased down by Jay and Hate. The damage from Hate is slowly becoming a problem. He does not have a lot of HP left here, but Vaksha's here to assist him. Gets a stun onto Jay, gets a knockup onto Hate. They will take him out, and that is going to be big. Jay forced to back off here. 102 seconds out from the core here of Onic-Ph. Iaknu trying to back up Jay here, forced to pop the immortality. They will force a fight. Martizi will get taken out, and Kosei takes down Jay, but the HP is low for Work Auster Force here, and they have to back off once again. It is a 3-4-2 trade in favor for Work Auster Force, but Kyrie is about to spawn.
This is another stalemate between Onic-Ph and Work Auster Force, and we're entering the 35-minute mark in a few seconds. 100 seconds seems like a long time, but we have to take note that Work Auster Force has also 2 members down for the next 80 seconds, which means they're gonna take their time to equalize once again. Wait for a 5-man strong unit, and by the time that time happens, the Lord is already spawned, and the Lord will be the next objective. Again, the game-breaking objective, but Onic-Ph, they have to stay careful inside their own jungle. Work Auster Force is already lurking around the corner!
It's the burst onto Iaknu! That is a big fight. Big pick-off. Just gives him a lot more space to take the Lord in the next 20 seconds.
100 seconds out for Iaknu, and this is going to be huge for Work Auster Force. The moment that Lord spawns, Chu will be there to take it. 3 people are down for Onic-Ph, and this is more than enough time for Work Auster Force to secure that Lord. Onic-Ph, they're already looking at a way to end this game. Oh, the Cho's in the bot side. This is lethal for Work Auster Force.
Oh, they have to make a choice here. Go for the Lord or just lose the game. And they will be backing off. It's just a Kagura though. It's not the best hero to go for the defense here. Can be bursted out by Dilar. Can be outdueled by Dilar. RTZ needs to play it as safe as possible. Try to buy a lot of time because RTZ is going to survive this. They get the Lord, but at what cost? The minions are already knocking on the door, being forced to back off because Martizi and Revel are going to spawn.
That could have been way worse for Work Auster Force. You know how much damage a Cho would do. One punch might just burn a lot of HP out of that crystal. But looks like Onic-Ph, they find the reset that they need. 30 seconds from now, Iaknu will be spawning once again. Work Auster Force also 5-man strong. A big fight is brewing inside the base of Onic-Ph as the Lord marches down mid lane once again. Again, we're 36 minutes inside this game. This is by far the most intense game that we had in this day so far, and this might be the final fight that seals it all.
The Lord is marching down. It's only a matter of time before Work Auster Force secures their victory. They will try to open up things here. Jay uses the glorious pathway here. The HP of the bottom lane inhibitor turret is not going to be a huge factor because they need to focus on D-Lord. That's already the problem out here for Work Auster Force, looking to go for the fight here and end it against Onic-Ph. Iaknu has the pressure damage to take the RTZ. Shoot down as well. Onic-Ph is turning the tables here because Bruno is starting to become a problem. Martizi looking for the kill onto Kyrie. They're focusing on the base, and Work Auster Force might just secure this game, and they will. They get the victory, a 2-0 on top of the group stage against Onic-Ph.
What a game for Work Auster Force, sweeping Onic-Ph, delivering the first loss for Onic-Ph in a very